Hey everybody, how you doing? Muggy's back with a dip review. Yes. Mr. Troy Warren, one of us subscribers here, was kind enough to reach out to me. Said, hey, I've got a bunch of stuff in my area you probably can't find. Want to do some trading? So yeah, we did a little finagling and some horse trading. He got what he wanted, I got what I wanted, and now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 cans of dip that I cannot find in my area. I don't even think some of this is available in my state. And quite frankly, I thought some of this stuff was discontinued. Today I am trying Gold River Western Cut Moist Snuff. What is Western Cut? I have no idea. I'm going to find out in a minute. On the front, just the Gold River Western Cut Moist Snuff and the obligatory warning label. On the side, you got your logo, a little bit of information there, UPC, a little bit of information. On the back, suit, tie, dip, and shoe guy would be going nuts because this sticker is way off center. Way off center. And the date code is partially obliterated by the writing on said sticker. 100% American made, and oh, this is a Swisher product. Okay, I did not know that. Made by Swisher International. Net weight 1.2 ounce, sale only allowed in the United States, 100% domestically grown tobacco. And yep, right here, Swisher International, Wheeling, West Virginia, tax class M. Alrighty, I'm going to crack this bad boy open. I never in my day thought I'd get to try Gold River. This is like a unicorn for me. Let's see what a Western Cut Moist Snuff looks like. And that looks like a long cut. There you go. Maybe a longer cut. On the lid, there's not much there. A few little bits and chunks. But the lid's relatively tobacco free. That's interesting. Feels a little dry on the top, but it does have some sponginess to it and some springiness to it. So yeah, still got some moisture in there. Definitely has some spring back. I'm not sure where to place this aroma. It almost doesn't have one, but there's something there. Whiffs of the tobacco. I'm not. Syrup. Smells syrupy. Okay. Oh, this pinches. Look at that. One big honkin' pinch. I ain't gonna put that much in my mouth. This feels a touch on the dry side. I don't know if it's by design or maybe this can was sitting on the shelf a little long. Hard to tell because the date code's obliterated. There's 2 digits that I can read. The rest of them are covered up by the rest of the white printing. So yeah, it is a touch on the dry side. So this might take a minute to juice up and release its flavor secrets to the world. Huh. Yeah, I've been reading some books on, I like reading history books. And reading one on the ill-fated whaling ship that is the basis for the novel Moby Dick. Yes, Moby Dick got its inspiration from an actual event. The whaling ship Essex left Nantucket port in August of 1819. What was to be a 2.5-year voyage, practically going around the world, chasing whales. They ran into a squall 2 weeks out of port, slowed them down a little bit. The whaling was a bit slow in the Atlantic, so they went around the Horn, or the Cape down there, South America, into the Pacific. They were doing pretty good, getting some whales, getting whale oil, filling the hole. Whale oil was a common fuel used back then. This stuff's pretty good. Getting lots of sweetness out of it. It's almost got chew-like sweetness qualities. Anyway, they were busy whaling. They stopped on the Galapagos to get water, and they took in some turtles for turtle meat. And one of the sailors there was Charles Island, I believe the name of the island was. They were goofing off. One of the sailors started a fire, and it pretty much burned down the whole island. And biologists say that that sailor's errant fire pretty much caused the extinction of at least 2 species on the Galapagos. A few weeks later, they're way out at sea. They're 1,000 miles from the nearest land in the middle of the Pacific. The captain and most of the crew were in whaling boats. They call them Nantucket sleigh rides. They harpoon a whale, the whale would start to run, and they just hang on and go for a ride. They're basically on the edge of the horizon from the ship. The first mate and a few other sailors were on the ship. They're doing maintenance repairs, basically. And they sighted a large whale off the side of the ship. They estimate the whale was 85 feet long. And it started approaching the ship fast. And then it rammed the ship. So much so that it almost knocked them off their feet. The whale went under the boat, went on the other side, and then turned around and came back even faster and smacked the boat again. This time the damage was done. The ship started taking on water. They couldn't keep up with the pumps. So the first mate told everybody, grab what you can, throw it in the boat. Abandon ship. The captain saw that the ship was suddenly off on its side. They turned around, cut the ropes loose, turned around, went back, and much to their dismay, the Essex was gone. It was pretty much a wreck, laying on its side, listing, slowly sinking. So here you have 3 whaling boats, each one about 20 feet long, and 20 crew members stuck 1,000 miles from anywhere in 3 boats with limited provisions, just what they had time to throw on the one boat before the ship sank. The nearest islands were off to the off to the west, I believe, east or west. But the first mate and the crew convinced the captain not to go there because there were rumors that the inhabitants were cannibals, which is kind of ironic for what was about to happen. So the captain decided, okay, we'll go south. They'll go south, they'll find an island, hit a trade wind, find another whaling ship, something. So south they went. Days turned into weeks. Somewhere along the line, they came across a small island, which is essentially a barren chunk of rock in the middle of the Pacific. That's all the island practically was. They stayed there for a week. 3 of the sailors decided they were going to take their chances on the island. They didn't want to go back on that boat, on the boats. So 3 sailors stayed behind. The rest of them continued their journey south. Provisions were running low. The bread and hardtack they'd managed to throw on got contaminated with seawater somewhere along the line. Very little water. Sun beating down on them. They were slowly starving to death. It got to the point where they started, their health declined so much, some of the men started to go mad. One of them was reported to have stood up and demand a dinner napkin and some water, and then he started to convulse, and he died the next morning. His shipmates, in the condition they were, ate him. They just cut him apart, and they consumed his corpse. Yeah. Over the course of the next couple of weeks, 3 more sailors died, and they were all subsequently eaten by their shipmates who were trying to survive. This dip is definitely different. Sweet, some natural stuff. Natural tobacco, sweetness, not getting much smokiness from it, but sweet and syrupy, yeah. Anyway, back to the voyage. As the men continued their journey south, one of the boats became separated from the rest of them sometime during one of the nights and was never seen again. Or actually, it was never seen again until many years later. The other 2 boats, the captain was in one, first mate was in the other. They eventually got separated too. A couple weeks later, the captain's boat, um, dying of starvation, one of the younger crew members suggested that they draw lots, and whoever lost would sacrifice their life to feed the others. So they drew lots, and the short straw went to the captain's cousin, who was merely a teenager. He was 17, 18 years old. The captain volunteered to take his place, and yet this lad said, "No, the lot fell on me. I'm going to die, and you guys can live off of my corpse." So he laid his head against the side of the ship. They drew lots again to see who would be the person who would kill that young man. And the lot fell to another young sailor who was still just a teenager. And he was a good friend of the poor lad, who was the cousin of the captain. So he took a pistol, put it up against his friend's head, and pulled the trigger. And they ate that young man. About 2.5, 3 weeks later, they were finally rescued. By then, there were only 2 survivors on the boat: the captain and that young man who pulled the trigger on his friend, the captain's cousin. And there was an English whaling ship that found them, and they reported that when they found these guys, they were so out of it that they barely acknowledged the fact that they were being rescued. They were more concerned with saving the bones of their crewmates that were scattered in the boat that they were chewing on and trying to suck the marrow out of. They were putting them in their pockets because they were afraid that they had nothing to eat while they were being rescued. Sometime later, an Australian whaling ship found the boat with the first mate on board. And there were only like 3 survivors left in that ship, left in that whaling boat. And they were just as bad off as the captain's boat. They were reunited in Mariposa. Mariposa was a common whaling port in the Pacific at the time. They recovered, recuperated, and then were transported back to Nantucket. Many years later, the third boat was actually found, washed up on a barren island in the Pacific with 3 skeletons on board. And that is the ill-fated voyage of the whaling ship Essex, which Herman Melville used as the inspiration for his novel Moby Dick, which was not a bestseller during his lifetime. It didn't sell well while he was alive. It grew in popularity after his death and became an American classic. But yeah, Moby Dick based on true events. This stuff's pretty good. It's got like a pancake syrup type flavor. Now that it's juiced up well, it's not overly sweet by any stretch of the imagination. It's an average sweet, nothing over the top, nothing real light. But it's definitely got a syrup note to it. Like they made the dip and gave it a squirt of maple syrup before they packed it into the cans. Tobacco flavor, it's not bad. It's not, ooh, wow, this is great tobacco, but it's not bad at all. It's very well hidden up by that sweetness, but there's just enough of that tobacco to come through. But yeah, there's definitely a maple syrup-esque flavor to this. The cut is actually pretty good. It's holding rock solid. It's not moving around at all. I have no floaters to speak of. I guess this Western cut, it looks like an extra long cut. Not quite Stoker's crazy long cut, but definitely longer than your average long cut. So it's holding together quite well. And like I said, this flavor is pretty good. It's like maple syrup. It's like a very faint maple syrup flavor mixed in with the tobacco. So that's what Gold River's all about. Huh. Yeah, Gold River. Definitely got a mapley, not maple, pancake syrup-ish notes to it. Holds together really well. No floaters to speak of. if you can ever find it, it's worth checking out. Not bad, Swisher. Not bad at all. Gold River. If you don't mind a light syrup, pancake syrup flavor in your tobacco, not bad at all. Good choice. I will finish this can, that's for certain. Enjoy the content. Be sure to like and subscribe. I appreciate it. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. This is definitely different. It's definitely a one-off, standalone type of product. I wouldn't necessarily call it a sweetened natural because what they sweetened it with lends its own flavor. But yeah, it's a breakfast dip. Yeah, that's about all I can think of to describe it. A breakfast dip. Makes me want to go out and make pancakes. Gold River by Swisher. Cowboy cut, which appears to be an extra long cut. Yeah, smelling it again now I got some in my mouth. I can smell the tobacco, but there's definitely got that sweet note to it. And in the mouth, that sweet note elevates to where it's almost dead even with tobacco and syrupy sweetness. They're pretty much dead on with each other. Definitely a unique product. I'll catch you all later. Take care. Don't eat your cousin. Don't go on a whaling ship. Just read the book. You'll be better off. Take care. Bye.